folks, we're up here in New Hampshire today, and I'm making a video for one of our subscribers who expressed some interest in different training that he could do to simulate a more realistic environment. Many of us go to ranges and we stand static in a shooting bay. We don't move. You know, we have to drop a magazine because we're out of ammo. We don't drop it, we catch it, and we're very gentle with it. Put our gun back down, and all that's great, and it's certainly needed if you're on a range that has multiple people on that firing line. However, from a real-world experience, you've got to move. So not only move for the sake of getting off the point of attack, creating distance between you and the threat, but also to simulate the environment of movement. In a dynamic confrontation, these threats out here, whether it's one or several threats, are not going to be just standing still. They're going to be moving either at you, away from you, or also to cover. The only way to simulate that engagement is to ideally use simunitions in a structured environment with folks that know what they're doing in terms of that kind of training. That's an awesome methodology because it allows you to have force on force. However, most of us don't have the chance to go train with simunitions. Very expensive. There aren't a lot of places that are convenient to do it. So we have to create our own environment whereby we can engage in something that is a little more dynamic. Anything that you see today is really about moving and trying to still place accurate combat effective hits quickly on the steel that we have out here. All the steel that we have is basically man-sized, chest area. So if the steel is ringing, that means I've got some sort of combat effective hit, right? We'll shoot from a number of different positions, prone, kneeling, sideways. We'll also show you some different drills you can do in terms of movement. You should not attempt any of these drills unless you're really comfortable how to safely operate the gun, you've got good muzzle discipline, and you know how to really keep yourself and anybody around you safe. So enough of me talking. If you like this video or any of the videos that we do, please click the thumbs up icon, share it with your friends and family, and let me know what you think of the videos. A lot of great feedback from subscribers, a lot of good education back from our subscribers, sharing information with me that I didn't know about or with our subscribers. So it's a good interaction, and I really appreciate and thank you all for doing that. Let's get to shooting right now. Here we have various pieces of steel. And what I'm going to show you is just the idea of moving. We're going slow right now because if you're doing this for the first time, you really want to focus on safety and seeing your front sight as you move. When engaging multiple targets, the other thing we have to do is see the target in our sight picture and then still be focused on the front sight. So I might want to move slowly at first as I'm presenting to these targets, right? And I'm just moving around the range, not being static. I'm not moving fast right now because I'm just allowing you guys to see what this looked like. The advantage of using steel is evident. When we hit the target, we know immediately whether or not that target has been engaged because we hear the target ringing. Walking back and forth and engaging the target. Hey, I'm reloading now. So in that string, we were moving. I didn't hit every single target. I think I missed one. But the point is we're constantly moving and we're trying to see our front sight as we move, right? That's really the key. I've loaded some magazines and I've mixed and matched. I don't know how many rounds are in each. I've got somewhere between 4 to 5 rounds in these magazines and a couple with 3. Again, I don't know what those are. So that means I'm going to have to react on the move and reload my gun, keep the gun operating. Stop! and I'm into my last magazine and I'm hunting in my pocket for it. So again, this type of thing is as much as we can do to simulate movement. One of the other things that's very useful to practice is shooting from positions you're not necessarily used to. So, prone, or I'm sorry, kneeling. And this position has some advantages, but it also has some disadvantages. The advantage is, of course, I can get up and move right away, right? So it gives me that flexibility. This position, though, is really stable. So if I had to engage targets at distance, then maybe this position here might be a good one to consider. There is no right or wrong position because, again, we don't know the environment in which we have to use our sidearm for self-defense. The next thing, what about if I'm prone, if I'm at a weird angle, what do I have to do? Well, what you have to do is the same thing you do when you're standing, and that is focus on the front sight and focus on trigger press. Okay, so for whatever reason, I ended up on the deck, and maybe I've got some part of a car here, hopefully the engine block in front of me, right? And I can't get over the hood because they're incoming rounds. Well, maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I've got to get down and still present a low profile and get underneath the bottom of the car. Can I shoot from there? Yeah, I can. Maybe I've got to do it from the other side, right? Bottom of the car. So, can I hit from there? Absolutely. Can I hit from here? Practicing something like this can be a real benefit if you ever had to be in the situation where you had to use cover or you had to shoot from an odd angle. So getting a chance to practice it is really important so that you're comfortable and you say, yes, I could make that shot if I had to from an odd position versus standing static right up and down. Could I get down? Now, ideally, I'd want to run away from any fight that was coming at me. Obviously, if I could get away, avoid the threat, avoid what was coming at me, that would be ideal. But if I couldn't, and I was in fear for my life or the life of my family, I might have to do something which might put me in an odd position. Is that something that's kneeling? Kneeling like this? Or have I had to go down prone, way low, like something like this? Could I reload from here? The fundamentals from shooting are exactly the same. Front sight, trigger press, trigger prep on the reset, and really focusing on getting consistent hits and only shooting as fast as I can get accurate hits on target. Stop! Hopefully I'd be moving to cover here. But if I couldn't, I'd still want to keep moving. Well, folks, that's it. That's some examples of creating a more dynamic training environment to train yourself for potential conflict. My number one advice is stay out of the fight if you can. Secondly, use verbal commands. Sometimes verbal commands will stop the threat. If I say stop, put down the weapon, hopefully they're going to do that. Also, if you're interested in this kind of training, you can certainly contact me. But there are a lot of places throughout the United States that provide a more dynamic training environment. Do the training. I really recommend, whether it's me or anyone, get out there, get on the range, get with some folks who have the knowledge and experience, and make sure that you're being safe, that you're being effective, and that you're not ingraining bad or dangerous habits into your memory, into your physiology, because what we want to avoid at all costs is training scars, particularly the ones that we see guys standing static on the range. We want to start engaging in some movement, getting off the point of attack, and ultimately getting to cover. The best thing is getting away and avoiding the threat. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay safe. .97. 3 shots, 1.47.